say it was a real test of my character, to be honest. Like, not necessarily virtues like honesty and all that, but it was more of perseverance, I would say, because honestly, it's a wonderful program. And the beautiful thing about Rise, about these people, is that they're interested in like the youth, like the actual teenagers that want to make a difference beyond their circumstances or maybe how privileged they are or the resources that they have. What they're interested in is finding the people who actually want to make that change. So it was more about mindset, and the application process is one that really tests whether you do have that mindset or not, because there are thousands of people that applied, of course, but in the end, like, it's not everybody who registers in the first place that even completes the first round of challenges, because it is quite tasking. But in uh also in the same vein, it's one that really touches on every aspect of the person's life, like the teenager's life and what they want to achieve. So it doesn't leave any part out. And for me, it was just one that really tested my perseverance and forced me to look beyond myself and beyond what my goals are. Beyond, okay, I want to be a winner. It would be nice to be a winner. It was more of, what impact do I want to have on my community? How am I ready to sacrifice, to achieve that? And rest just, I think, in the application process, want to be a part of your journey in how you identify problems, how you map out a solution, how you try to, actually implement the solution that you come up with. So it's one that just really tests the character of like people that apply, I think, not necessarily in a like lie detector kind of test. It was just more of, okay, you want to start this journey to make a change. We want to be a part of that journey. If you do make it through, we want to be able to support you to continue to do more for your community and make changes. So it definitely was a wonderful experience for me, because I got to reflect a lot on myself, on how the kind of mindset that I have, and the kind of approach that I would adopt when it comes to like solving problems and making a change. So that's how it was for me, honestly. It was tasking in that there was always a lot to do, but it's one that also develops perseverance and grit and character. Yeah. I hope that answers the first question.
Definitely. So I would like to know, before everyone else get the chance to ask their questions. So something that um, always bothers me about the application process is, what did you find challenging the most when you wanted to apply, and were you able to get around that?
Right, so that's a very good question. Thank you for bringing that up. To be honest, I struggled with some imposter syndrome as well, because the system we were using at the time was Hello World. It was an app. And so like basically we had to submit video entries at various points during the first round. And what would happen is that you would upload a video of yourself talking about, there was a video on like your aspirations, videos on like the ideation stage of your project, implementation, challenges you face, how you overcame that. But the thing is, every time I logged onto that app, every time I went in, I would just see thousands and thousands of videos of like all these children from all over the world doing amazing things. And I always felt like, why am I here? That kind of thing. And obviously, like, background coming from Nigeria. And of course, I know that Nigeria is very developed in many ways, but we're still also developing in a lot of ways. So it was quite a bit intimidating for me for a while, seeing people from like all these more developed countries, like technologically more advanced countries, doing like cancer detection toothbrushes and like all sort of things. And I was like, I can't compete with these people. So initially, like, I did struggle with that kind of giving up even before I completed the first round, giving up because I felt I wasn't going to make it anyway, because there's all these other people doing all these amazing things. And I think it's something that's not talked about enough, in terms of the fact that like everybody just expects you to be able to compete anywhere. And of course, we are able to compete everywhere. It's not that we are unable to. It's more of the fact that we don't think that we are able to, and that stops us from even trying to compete in the first place. And I think how I got over that was realizing that, first of all, we are all at different stages in different journeys. So we're all living life, we're all learning. So it's like, of course, I don't know everything yet. Like, I'm not supposed to know everything yet. That's not how life works. So rather than seeing people as like my opposition and people that are taking away my chance or whatever, or people to be scared of, it's more about seeing them as people to learn from, because it's exposure really. So even if like they're doing things that you thought were crazy or impossible, it's that mindset of, oh, this is possible. I should learn from this person. Maybe I'm not a tech girl. Maybe I'm not a poetry girl. Maybe I'm not the type that's interested in cancer or gene editing or that sort of thing. But I can learn. It's an opportunity for me to broaden my horizons and learn about different sectors and spheres within the world. So I think seeing it as more of a learning opportunity rather than just, oh, these people will not let me win, that kind of thing. So that was one challenge. Secondly, I would say, in terms of my project itself, because my project was one that required me to kind of collaborate or interact with people from different spheres. Like, my project was a research paper on the effects of stigmatization of young mental health patients in Southwestern Nigeria. So I had to apply for ethical clearance to conduct surveys and research. I had to interact with mental health patients. I had to interview mental health professionals. So in terms of interviewing mental health professionals, I found that a lot of them were not very willing or to talk to a young secondary school girl about their job and what they were doing, because there were points in my research that kind of caused me to query is a bit of a harsh word, but to just dig deeper into the ethics of how they handled mental illness cases. So I found that it can be quite frustrating and demoralizing when stakeholders in your research, because I did a research project, when these people start to pull out and it feels like, oh, this is the structure I had for my work, but it's like I'm losing that structure, because initially they were like, oh, that's great, it's good that you're interested, but then as time went on, they weren't responding anymore to messages. They just didn't want to talk about it anymore. So it felt like I was already building this structure and I was getting where I wanted with my work. Then all of a sudden that just wasn't happening anymore. And it was like I was just left in the middle of the ocean, no lifeboat, no nothing. But it's part of what I mentioned earlier on perseverance and grit, because it's about understanding. I think the way I overcame that was understanding that it's not their fault. I mean, we could play the blame game and say it's their fault, but really it's not. It's more about who believes in the work, who had the vision for the work. I had reasons why I wanted to do that. I had reasons why I believed it was important to do that kind of thing, because there's a lot of stigma associated with young people like Nigerians coming out to say they're struggling with this or they need help with that. They're generally perceived as lazy. And so I had this understanding of why I needed to dig deeper. And so if other people didn't see that, I couldn't blame them. Like, it was more of understanding that, oh, well, this is my responsibility, not yours. So it's fine if you're not committed to it. Like, you don't have to be committed to it. I'm the one who bears the responsibility, the primary responsibility of being committed to my vision, because it's my vision. And so having that understanding really helped me to not attach like my self-worth to it in terms of, oh, they don't want to talk to me, is there a problem with me? It was more of, oh, they don't want to be involved in my work. That's fine. I will have to find a way to move on. So I learned a lot, and I just overcame that by understanding that, like, it's fine if nobody else sees your vision, as long as you see your vision and you know why you see your vision, why your vision is important for the rest of the world, for humanity, then run with it. Don't wait for anyone, basically. So those were two big challenges I faced. And I think, just to cap it all off, I hope I'm not talking too much, but fatigue, I was really tired at various points because I had other things going on. So it got to points where like my day would be filled with so many things, and then I would have to carry out my research in the night, and I wasn't getting like enough sleep and all of that. But honestly, I just tried to maintain a positive mindset as to why. Because I think if you don't have a why for whatever you do, it just becomes pointless and it's easier to drop out. So beyond the possibilities of becoming a rise winner, beyond the benefits that I could, get access to. It was more of, why am I doing this? Like, what impact am I hoping to have beyond whatever benefits? And understanding that helps to kind of keep you grounded and keep you in the process. And also for me, I'm a Christian, so I tend to just like carry every little thing to God. And I think praying about it, I remember some long conversations I would have with God, and like just reading my Bible. And to be honest, it really helped me to keep the right kind of headspace. Like, it's not like I didn't have times of frustration or being like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. But headspace is really important, I would say. So even when other people aren't contributing to giving you a healthy kind of space to work in, I think you can still do that for yourself and influence what kind of headspace you're constantly in. So definitely spending time with God in prayer and like reading my Bible was helpful as well. Yes, I think those were the major challenges I faced and the ways I overcame them.
Awesome. So this is amazing, because of one of the reasons why this is great is your willingness to actually share as much as possible. You are giving back in a way, and this is wonderful. So I want to say thank you very much. It's like, I hope a lot of, and those who will get to still watch this session later, they get to see like your point of view, and they are empowered to actually do more. Um, this rise global challenge. So we can. So I believe, we're Nigerians first before being African, and yeah, we have other people across Africa on this call, and others who we get to see this. So we have this born desire to do well, and to achieve success in a place of disadvantage. It's always like go hard or go home for us. And really, I think this is one of the best way that we can get in to actually win, like, talking to those who have done success and they have achieved success. So thank you very much for not holding back. So I'm going to ask one final question before I open up the space for to ask the question about syndrome, which is something not being talked about in space, especially for STEM, and something that everyone, even those who have gotten to the pinnacle of their careers and have achieved success. So we wrote something coincidentally with the last blog we wrote on our website. So it's like on the chat. Anyone who is on this call, if you are interested, you can always take a minute to look at it after the webinar. Of course, don't leave yet. So my final, before we allow those on the call to ask theirs, is so I'm going to merge this into two. The first is, do you have support system that helped you to communication? I know you talk about prayers and communication, but in terms of, do you have like maybe sibling or like a teacher that helped you to complete your application or your project? And what was your experience after you won? Like, what are the parts attached to being a winner?
All right, thank you for those questions. Support system. I think I definitely do have a support system in my family. My mom especially, because I'm just really close with my mom, and she was ill actually as at the time I signed up for the challenge. So like she had to be transferred to another state for treatment, and I had just finished secondary school, so I was the only one who was kind of free, who had free time on my hands, because my siblings were in school, my dad was working, so I was the only one who was free to go with her. And I remember I came across the flyer, the e-flyer on a friend's WhatsApp status for Rise, I mean. So like seeing that, it definitely captured my attention. But then I was like, do I have the time for this? Like, I'm busy taking care of my mom. Should I even be thinking about doing something else, But when she was like awake, able to talk, I just mentioned it to her, and she was like, do it, that kind of thing. She's always been one to push me to go out of my comfort zone, not in bad ways, of course, but to do new things, try new things. And I think it's definitely helpful to have someone who believes in you. Like, the power of that cannot be underemphasized. And yeah, my family as a whole, even when they didn't like understand some things I was doing sometimes, they do believe in me, and it's helpful to remember that, because you will come across people that don't believe in you. So having people who do, definitely, when you have people like that, it's good to appreciate that, because not everyone is like that, and if you're lucky enough or blessed enough to have a family that does see your potential, then it's something to appreciate, because not every family is like that. But I will say that even when you don't have that kind of family, of course, I'm not like, I love my family and I appreciate them very much, but I've become very aware of the kind of different backgrounds that people come from. And I've seen people that even when their families, sorry, apparently I was muted for a while. But I was saying that I do appreciate my family and like the big role that they've played in helping me get to this point. But while I definitely recognize that, and I'm not conceding anything on that topic, I've become very aware of the kind of different backgrounds that people come from. And there is this notion that some people have that, oh, because my family doesn't really believe in me or support me, then I can't do great things. But that's not true, because there's also lots of people who, despite opposition from every angle, go on to do great things, right? So if you're blessed enough to have people who do believe in you, who do say, even if you go to the ends of the earth, will support you and who are ready to stand with you and behind you, then don't let them go. Don't make them feel unappreciated, definitely. But even if you don't, right, even if for some reason or the other you're not with family, or your family just isn't like that towards you, then that doesn't mean that you still can't do great things. That doesn't mean that your potential has somehow reduced, right? That doesn't mean your potential for greatness has left you or something, right? It's about mindset. And my family really helped me get through difficult times. For a while, I wasn't living at home because as part of a program, and so I couldn't see my family as often. But like, even messages like, how is your project going, how is everything, really helped. Also, I would say just jump into the project regardless of whatever kind of support system you have, because I gained a lot from just doing research and writing the paper alone. I gained technical skills, but I also gained a precious relationship from one of the doctors. It was, out of all the medical professions I reached out to, only one stuck with me like till the very end and even beyond. And he became like a kind of mentor to me as well. So you never can tell, honestly, with these things. The most important thing is to give your best without expecting or without just counting on the benefits published on the website alone, because there are other benefits that you could gain outside of that that would be just as impactful, that will stick with you for life. So yeah, in terms of support system, my family really played a big role, honestly. And the second question, sorry, could you remind me what that was?
Yes, what the experience was like after you won, and like how did it really change your life?
Of It changed my life in a lot of ways. I can't even lie. There were, in terms of my experience moving forward, like with my education journey, for example, I got a laptop because winners have a technology package. So the laptop I'm having this call from right now was Rise that helped get it in terms of funding. And that really transformed my educational experience. It's been easy to study. It's been easier to study with an actual laptop. Uh, there's been lots of benefits as well with funding for schooling, because I had like, at the time I was graduating, I did not plan to study abroad. Like, I wanted to. It's not like I never had that kind of dream, but I just felt, nah, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna work out because of a lot of reasons. But it happened, and like, it's it just leaves me in awe whenever I like stop and think about it. Like, Asha, look at where you're studying right now. Look at the kind of access to education that you have. Look at the resources at your disposal. And it also makes me think you can't let this go to waste. Of course, it's not like pressure, but I mean, it's responsibility. Like, if you've been entrusted with this much because people saw your potential, even people you've never met, because I had no connections with Rise whatsoever. So it was like from my little corner in the state in Nigeria, like they saw that, oh, this girl has potential. This girl has like the 5 Rise traits. This girl has a reason like for what she's doing, and like we should support her. So if people see the reason or the need to support you and they actually do that, then of course you're responsible to make sure that they Rise is not asking for money back or anything, but they should see the value or like the effects of their investment in me. That's the way I think, and that's the way I see it. So it makes you also like be more responsible. So it definitely transformed my educational experience in terms of like the technology package, higher education funding. In other regards, I started getting a lot more like social media followers. Like people would just randomly message. Like for the last cohort, like I got messages on LinkedIn, on Instagram. People would be like, "Hi, I noticed you're a Rise winner from Nigeria. I'm also from Nigeria. I need advice with my project. How did you find the experience? What tips would you give me?" And like, I mean, I can't say I'm a celebrity. I feel far from that, but the fact that people saw like what I had done, and even this platform, honestly, it's such an honor to like be invited to talk about this and to be given the opportunity to give back, because of course I want to give back. I know how it felt to be on the other side of, can I really do this? There's people from all over the world. Can I really make the cut? So I think it's definitely an honor, really. And I never take it lightly. The fact that people reach out to me and ask me for help. It's like, oh wow, you want me to help. That's amazing. So I got lots of messages on like LinkedIn and Instagram asking how the experience was for me. And I mean, I guess it's kind of a perk when you think about it, but I just always felt so like, oh my, like these people are looking up to me in some way or the other. But as much as I could help, I tried to. I'm not the best with social media messaging, so I felt really, really bad. Like if I would just see a message after like 2 weeks, I'm like, oh no. But yeah, in terms of social media, I guess that was one thing. I got recognition from people really saying, I saw your picture on the website, I can't believe you did that. And for my community as well, I think it was empowering for people who felt like my city is not on the map, you know. So it's like, wow, somebody from here could do that kind of thing, could rise to do great things and make a difference and make impact. So I definitely felt that a lot after being a winner, but it also definitely transformed my educational experience. I've gotten to connect with people, like even as a finalist, like you get benefits in terms of workshops and seminars. And I think the learning experience, wow, the learning experience is one that cannot be underemphasized. Like beyond whatever, the fact that you get to learn from people, like from your cohort, other people applying, and from speakers, or like whenever there are events, basically, it's just whole new world opening up every single time. So that's one thing as well. Yeah. I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, definitely. It's for celebrity, yeah. You know, when you think about it, these are what we want to know more about. Yeah, people do a lot in entertainment and some other things, but when it's about education, making changes, having a voice on a global stage. So I think, like, yeah, you are as much as anyone can. You are doing amazing. You are a trail, and a lot of across Africa, a lot of young girls want to be able to achieve what you have achieved. Yeah. So definitely, you should wear your cape proudly, and your trumpet to achieve the way for you. Yeah, I'm happy for that. Uh, so I also want to say, for those that are on the call, a type of project is unique. Not everyone will be able to go deep into research. But other ideas that other winners worked on. There was a young girl that created a dispenser, I think, a sanitary pad dispenser for girls in a community who cannot afford to buy sanitary pad. You know, there was a young guy that teaching children's English. So it's like diverse idea. Like it's all about making impact. It's all about making a change in your community. And so this is why we're actually doing this, so that anyone that wants to apply and those who want teenagers, I don't know if I can call 15 to 17-year-old teens, help them apply so that you can have a lot of information. So information is actually power when used rightly. So that this is why we're having this session. Yeah, so I'm keeping to my promise. I'm done asking my questions, even though I could go on and on tons of questions. This open. So I don't know before we throw it open to the call if they have any question that they want to ask Asher. More, do you have okay? So Milton is already raising his hand. So I don't know if Mo has something to say, but while Mo is getting ready to talk, Milton, yes, you have the mic. You can unmute and ask your question.
Okay, thank you. I am Milton by name. I'm from Imo State. Last year I applied for the Rice challenge. It was a wonderful experience for me, but I was finding it difficult to manage my time since I was still in high school. So my question is, how were you able to manage your time with the Rice project? Because I know it's very time consuming. How were you able to manage your time?
Thank you for that question, Milton. I think that's a very valid question because definitely the rise challenge is one that takes a huge part of you and like it's including your time. I would say know yourself. I think that's the most important thing because you have to understand, first of all, know yourself, know your why, because things will always come up. So it's about, okay, when do I find it best? How best can I fit this into my schedule? And understanding that I will be just tempted by various things. I have the tendency to be distracted by these sort of things, and understanding that, okay, even if this comes along, my Rise project has at this moment carries more weight than any other thing. And of course it's difficult because like you have other commitments. You mentioned that you were in high school last time. So like if you were in a senior class, for example, you probably had lots of studying to do. Maybe you're preparing for WAAW or that sort of thing. But I would say, did you want to cut it now? Would you have me finish? Do you want to clarify something? I guess you can just unmute now. Yeah.
Please continue.
Right. Okay. So I would say there's definitely a lot schedule wise, but it's about finding space. Whatever matters to you, that's one thing. Whatever matters to you is something that you will pursue, even if it's difficult. But if it carries that much weight, it's like I will find a way to do it. That kind of mindset, I think, is what needs to be developed first of all, like prioritizing and saying, okay, this, that, and understanding that there will have to be sacrifices. Maybe it's in your sleep schedule, maybe your hobby, like football, for example. I mean, maybe just maybe stereotypical, but I know lots of guys from back home enjoy watching / playing football. So it's more of okay, maybe these things I used to consider part of my schedule. If they are luxuries that I can afford to lay off for a while in order to achieve this goal, in order to focus more on this, then it's a sacrifice that I will have to make for this number of months or this period of time. Is the way I see it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Can I please ask another question?
Yes, you can.
Okay, I applied for last year. Can I still apply for this year with the different projects? because after the first round, I couldn't qualify for the final round, but throughout the experience, it was a wonderful one, and I learned a lot from it. So do you think I can still apply for this year's challenge?
I'm glad you had like a somewhat positive experience on the last one. You can apply for this year actually, as long as you still fit the I can't speak English anymore. The eligibility requirements, especially with regards to age. So if you still qualify, then the fact that you applied last year is not a boundary or something that should stop you from applying again. I think in my cohort, there was someone who was actually a winner last year, like the year before my cohort, and reapplied with my cohort. I'm not sure if the person became a winner again, but I do know that like there are people that apply more than once. So definitely, as long as you still fit those requirements and as long as you're still eligible, then yeah, go ahead. All the best.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think I should, if there's another question on the so thank you, Milton, for stepping up. So if there's anyone that is willing to throw in a question or two, yeah, Oluwafemi, you have the mic. Please unmute.
All right, thank you so much. And thank you, Asher, for that explanation. Now, some of us are on this webinar just to gain understanding about what we might need to do. This question may go to the host of this webinar. I would like to know what are the things expected of us that we are thinking of supporting those who are applying. I'm not going to be applying. I'm not in the age group. But of course, I've seen from what Asha was saying, some of the challenges that they could face, where we can come in to help people who are actually applying. I still want to hear more. What are the things expected if we are willing to support? For example, I've seen some of the challenges that she faced that people usually apply for example, some scholarship applications have faced such situations. And we've seen how we've been able to help them maneuver it. But I really want to ask more. What are the expectations from those who are willing to support those who are applying? Because that's why I'm joining this webinar. Of course, I can't apply. Of course, I can share the information with young people around me who may want to apply. But in case of supporting them, what are the expectations from us? Thank you.
That question. Thank you very much. In most people wants to get something for themselves, it's very rare to see someone willing to give back and to help others. So that's a great one. So what that we've noticed is that not everyone have the bandwidth to so you have some young people who maybe they have the zeal or the willingness to do this, but they don't have access to maybe a computer, internet. There may be teachers who wants to help as many of his or students as possible, but the person needs transportation, in a case where maybe the teacher has to go to the student's house to explain to the parents the reason why they have to support to do this. So it's always a developing scenario. And one of the things we're trying to do at WAAW Foundation is to support those people. Yeah, those who can bring up 10 young person that wants to apply and mentor them or follow up with them to ensure that they complete the application, to ensure that they do their projects properly. So we're also looking at a way to engage them, work with them, ask them, what do you need? You need so all those things are like a conversation we can still have, like a developing conversation. Yeah. So definitely I'd like to connect with you. So I don't know if there's a way. I'm going to drop my email in the chat so that we can have a follow-up conversation on this. So let me not take too much of your time, and let me also give Asha an opportunity to also add to my response. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to add to the conversation. And thank you, Mr. Oluwafemi, for asking that question, because I think it's something that adults or parents, guardians need to be aware of. I think the most important thing would be asking them, I would say, like asking the person or the student or the teenager, what do you want to do? What problem do you want to solve? Because I've realized that a lot of people want to solve problems. You ask them which problem they don't know. So it's like developing that focus, I think, is something that's really important from early on. While it's important, or while it's good to also be open to whatever options, whatever new ideas, but not having a mission statement, right? To say, this is what I want to do, is a huge problem. People just want to do stuff. What do they want to do? If you ask them that question, they can't answer. So first of all, I think helping them identify what they want to do, what problems they want to solve, what skill sets they have, or what skill sets they should develop. And I think letting them do that as well, that can be a challenge sometimes when you feel, oh, this child should do this or study that, and the child wants to go in a completely different direction. Obviously, I do believe that parents and guardians have a role to play in guiding the child towards maybe particular courses in terms of what they've noticed in strengths and weaknesses and all that. But ultimately, one thing about the RISE challenge is that it's a test of passion. Like, if you're not passionate about the problem that you're trying to solve, or if you're not passionate about your project, then it's going to be a real problem to complete it, because it's a lot. From the question Milton asked earlier, it's a lot. So if you're not interested yourself and you're just doing it because one adult told me to, then it's not going to last. It's not. So I think and of course this goes to all the students here as well, do what you're passionate about. Really, it's not about the trends. Okay, the whole world is talking about AI now, so I should do a project related to AI. It doesn't work like that, because first of all, that's not what RISE wants. RISE wants authenticity. Secondly, you won't last, you won't stick to your project if it's not something that you actually care about. So I think one thing that adults can do is, first of all, help students, young people, teenagers to identify what they're passionate about and what problems exactly they want to solve. And then secondly, it would be to encourage these young people to stick to what they're passionate about, what their strengths are, and what they're really interested in as individuals and as people, because that's the only way they'll actually go far in this journey. Yeah, I think that's just what I wanted to add on the side today.
Thank you very much. Milton is still raising his hand. I don't know if he has like a new question that he wants to ask.
Yes, please. I have a new question to ask. Please, I wanted to ask, must my project be something technological? I mean, based on creating a new thing, maybe a device to solve a problem? Must it be about bringing a change? Because my last project was kind of solving a problem that had to do with students' attitude towards education and learning. I guess it was kind of abstract, but what I'm asking is that can it be something that has to do with behavior, maybe helping out in community affairs? Must it be based on technology?
Thank you for that question, Milton. No, it doesn't have to be honest. Like, that's just a short, simple answer. And I guess I already touched on that a little bit earlier with like the kind of way I was feeling at first going into the challenge and seeing these amazing projects from all over the world. But I just mentioned it in my last response that it should be something you're passionate about, not the current trends. And I am curious about your last project now, to be honest, about solving students' attitudes, because how did you go about that? But anyway, I guess that's a discussion for another time if we do have another chance to interact. But I would say, of course, you should be specific with your project. Something that's not abstract will definitely sit better like with your audience than something that is abstract. So, because I mean, I'm not sure again of the specifics of what you did last time, but when people hear about your project or see what you're doing, they should be able to ask, so how do I fit into that? Also, how does this, impact future generations? You know what I mean? But it does not have to be technology related at all. There's a winner from Nigeria, from my cohort, that what he did was, his name is David Mokwe. You can read on him if you want, but he did a zero waste day in his community. So his approach was tackling waste management, right? So what he did, I mean, I don't have all the specifics, but what he did was have people come with their waste, teaching them the proper way to, go about waste disposal. And he just did that in his community. So first of all, it wasn't large scale. It wasn't like we were seeing WhatsApp flyers from all over the world being like, do this, bring this waste to this place. So definitely having a target area or kind of niche that you're trying to carve is more helpful than just being general and abstract, definitely. But it does not have to be technology based. If you're passionate about it, if you're interested in it, if you think it's something that deserves attention, I apologize for the background noise. If it's something that you think deserves attention and you think should be spoken about, even if there are no ongoing conversations on it, you can start a conversation, right? Yeah, don't be afraid of starting a conversation on something, and don't be afraid of being perceived as old school, because your experience, why you're interested in it, even if it's not what the rest of the world seems to be interested in. So don't be afraid, even if it's not technology related. As long as you're clear and concise about what it is, then there is no problem. I hope that helps.
Thank you. Yes, you did answer my question, I think.
Yeah, so I don't know if we don't have a question. We actually have exactly 15 minutes left, and I would very much like that we jump off even before we exhaust that time. So, Faith, I'm not sure if your network is fine. So, I can see Oluwafemi, you're muted. Do you want to add to the conversation, or you have a new question that you want to ask? Please go ahead.
I've gained insights, and just like what you said, I would just like to comment with you after now. I think one of the things I need to do is to create awareness for young people around me, and being a mentor to them, to be able to think out. I like what Asha was talking about, that sometimes people don't know what they can offer, but when you guide them, that can help them a lot. So I've been enlightened about how I can be part of this opportunity, create awareness with people, and then helping people to find something to do and then solve a problem in the environment.
That's fine. That's fine. So Asha has 5 minutes to go. I think we're just going to use that 5 minutes to say thank you very much for giving back to us. We really appreciate you taking your time. So Mo finally is ready. So this is the last you hear from me. So Mo, you have the floor. Take it on. Thank you, Asha.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Hi, Asha. Thank you so much for joining in. It was very inspiring to hear your story and how dedicated and how imagine, because being in the program for a while, we understand the challenges that young people face. Being like a driver for registrations and all. Some of them are like, oh, it's so hectic, it's too cumbersome, we can't really make it like. So I totally understand where you're coming from, to be honest. Your struggles were so relatable because I could really see it in other young people. So I really appreciate, your you standing strong through everything. And I'm so glad to see that your dedication paid off. I am very passionate about your project as well. Like, mental awareness is something that I have a strong passion for. So like hearing that, seeing how hard you work to actually get people to speak to you, knowing the stigma for mental health in Nigeria, people don't even want to explain them. So they don't want to identify with anything mental. So I can imagine the struggles really. So I really, really appreciate you coming, to share your experience, to empower more people, to encourage them, to inspire others. And it just shows so much for your it's very telling on your dedication to this projects to, giving back to the community and to doing more, to being the extra for the ordinary. So yeah, thank you so much. Our foundation, what we do, it definitely like aligns with, giving STEM giving STEM opportunities to young people, providing, and I believe we'll definitely see, we'll definitely find a proper alignment point with you, because we really want you to be a part of organization. You're such an amazing person. So yeah, thank you so much for joining in. I know that I mean, you really took much of your time, and I'm really glad that you stayed to through the call. But yeah, thank you so much.
And I would
All
like to say
right,
thank
Asha.
you.
Yeah. So you can just have your final word. Let me allow you to do that. Then you can jump off. Thank you.
Right. I would like to say thank you so much for having me, to be honest. As I mentioned earlier, it really is an honor to be able to like answer questions and just share from my experience. And I feel blessed to be here. So thank you so much for having me. To everybody on this call who plans to apply to Rise, or to anyone who wants to spread the word about Rise, definitely all the best. I'm rooting for everyone, and I can't wait to see Nigeria become more I can't wait to see Nigeria be more known as a hub of innovation among youth, and yeah, to put us on the map really. So I'm excited for every single positive thing that's going to come out of the call. Thank you for your time as well. I mentioned that I was going to be here for only 20 minutes initially, but the questions just were amazing, and it was wonderful to be able to give back. I have a few, well, just one actually question about people that want to connect with me, because I'm getting a message, but it seems like LinkedIn, Instagram, like for people who are not on those platforms, I would like to know how else to keep in touch. I would recommend though that you start it from now, like for young people, start to have a LinkedIn profile. You don't have to have much on it really, and you don't have to be a big person to create a LinkedIn profile. But if you can, please do just put yourself out there more and more. It's another way to access opportunities. But in terms of like keeping connected, I don't know if I'm allowed to like share my email or anything like that, just in case of safeguarding rules, if that's okay.
Yeah. It's your information.
Asha, you don't necessarily have to share any personal information.
Right.
Yeah, if there's need for you to relate with anyone, we'll definitely reach out to you if there's, But for now, I think we can actually cover the question and answers. We just wanted you to actually help, inspire more people to want to be a part of the program, saying that, we've got a lot of questions. In fact, like, is it real? Where did they get the money from? Who are those people? So you actually providing clarification, actually being the proof of evidence, like, oh, this actually is real. I'm a, testament of this program and all. So yeah, but you don't have to do anymore. Like, this is totally like amazing already. Thank you very much. And we are really rooting for you.
For you want to like follow her, you can connect with Asha on LinkedIn. Just search for her name, a full name, and then you get to follow her. So then you find your way from there. Good luck. Let's not take much of it. We'll keep in touch. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. So we have posted a WhatsApp link, so you can jump up now. Asha, so we have posted a WhatsApp link for anyone that is interested in continuing the conversation. Just like Oluwafemi have said, WAAW Foundation is actually dedicated to as many young persons get access to this opportunity. And we are going to be doing everything we can to help as many young persons win as across Africa, not just Nigeria, across Africa win. So let's not take much of our time. We have only 7 minutes to go. Oluwafemi, I've posted our email and also the link to on the chat. You can connect, and we'll pick up conversation from there. We hope to get more people like you, more stakeholders like you who are interested in development of youths in Nigeria and in Africa, and who are ready to give back in every way possible to see young people grow. So thank you for those who took their time to join and to learn. And so the conversation continues actually on the group. This is where the work starts. So this is just like the beginning. The real work starts now, and we'll keep updating and guiding everyone in the process on the WhatsApp group. So my name is Tumishe, and I'm from WAAW Foundation. I'm working in the marketing and media for WAAW Foundation. On the call, I have my colleagues here. I think everyone else has dropped off. It's just Moromake that is remaining. So don't let me say too much. I'm going to hand over to Moromake because she's my boss. And so I will just say thank you once again for joining. We really appreciate the dedication that you're putting into this, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Mo, you have the floor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Tumishe. Like, it's been an amazing session. Thank you so much for driving this. What I would like to pass across is that we are actually looking at, we are actually looking to bring on board dedicated drivers. So as a teacher, as somebody that works with schools, you have like a community of 15 to 17-year-olds, you think you can actually bring a huge number of people to register. Because if you know anything about WAAW Foundation, you know about our passion for bridging the gap between talents in Africa and, STEM education, and how to actually take them there. So the situation here is that we work with young people. We have a series of programs around those young people. And Rise Challenge it aligns with our programs in such a way that our programs are focused on this set of people, and actually and actually helping people to achieve their potential, to see the brilliance in themselves, to pick their interest in STEM. So if you have people in your community, young people between 15 to 17, reach out personally to Tumishe. You can reach out to him, Tumishe at WAAW Foundation. You can reach out to me, Moromake at WAAW Foundation. Or you can reach out to Marketing at WAAW Foundation if you don't want to, I don't know. But generally, the group is like very effective. If you send a message on the group, we'll see it ASAP and we'll respond ASAP. So it's very important. We are looking for drivers. If you know that you are able to maybe register 20 students, if you know you can commit to registering 30 students, even if you are a student and you know that you are able to gather your friends, rally them and say, you know what, I'm going to bring 30 of my friends to apply. We really want that, because we know that in as much as opportunities are everywhere, it doesn't get to people. So we want people that can actually help us get that information to people that need it the most. There are no limitations. You don't have to be in school. I've seen really amazing Nigerians do big things and they were not in school. You just see some crazy innovation and they're like, who did it? It's even an out of school child. So anybody in your community, take it to them. If you want, we are providing support for people to actually be like people that want to drive. We'll call them drivers, right? So please, if you're interested, reach out to anybody on the group, send a message on the group chat and all. Yeah, so that's just what I really want to stress, because I know that the people on this call are the dedicated ones. Some of you want to apply for the program, some of you want to drive the program. So really appreciate it if you can, just reach out and say, this is my number. I can do 50. I can register 100. I can register 200. So yeah, we really look forward to that. I think I'll be ending the meeting. So I'll just like to ask again at this point, if anybody has any question whatsoever about the program, and then we can all end the meeting. Thank you so much to everyone that joined. It means a lot that people are still passionate about education, that people really want to be part of the solutions, and that we, this is how it happens, this is how solutions happen. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, I will be happy to take the questions. If you don't have any questions at this point, you can jump off. But if you have any questions, you can stay back, and I'll be taking any questions you have.
All right. Bye, everyone.
All right, bye.
So Milton, you can ask more your question. Why the rest of us, we are good to go.
Okay, I wanted to ask, you said earlier that we can invite people from outside the community. I mean, non-students are young or old. But my question is there any reward for it? Because I can actually invite my sister to it. So why do I need to tell the WAAW Foundation I can bring people? Is there any reward for doing so?
Okay, so just like me personally telling you now, this is me promoting the program because I know it's beneficial to people. So there is a place of service. Like if you inform your sister about the program, there is no reward for that unless your sister actually finds the program rewarding or the process rewarding. But reward in the sense that we might have to provide stipends to people that want to drive it. It's not necessarily like a payment, it's just what you require to, drive it and bring people on board. So, and that's not just somebody that wants to bring one person. Myself personally, I'm probably going to bring 50 people. So it's like, if you say, I want to be committed to this, I really believe in this program, I'm a teacher, I want to help my students, this is what it will require, maybe data stipend or transportation stipend, just about anything that you need to get it done. WAAW Foundation is an NGO. So we rely upon like volunteer work to actually push programs and things like that. So that's what I mean by reward. I mean, we'll provide stipends for extra costs that you might, procure in the process of pushing. Are you there? Was I able to
Yes,
answer your question?
yes.
All right. Yeah. So because in the last cohort we had a student, like I was so surprised because I'm like, initially we only focus on teachers. Like, oh, teachers should recruit their students, they should register their students, we'll go to schools, we'll talk to them. But in that case, like this was actually a young person that was registering himself and was like, he's going to, drive people in his community to register. And I think we got about 30 registrations that he pushed by himself. And the person was young. So I was like, okay, if this young person can do this, let's not limit anybody. It could be anybody that wants to push it. That's fine. So yeah. Does anyone else have any question? So we can end the call now. Okay. There's
Thank you.
silence.
Bye.
So all right. Okay. Bye everyone. If you have questions, please use the group chat. We'll be happy to provide clarifications as we go. All right. Bye.